It's 9:20 on a Thursday, and there are 8 people at a long table in a bar. Sweating glasses, a menu abandoned at the corner, 2 separate conversations running at opposite ends of the table. Nobody is paying particular attention to anybody. It's an ordinary night. At 9:23, someone arrives late. This person doesn't apologize for being late. They pull out a chair, sit in the middle of the table instead of the leftover seat at the end, greet 2 people by name, make a short joke about their own lateness, and somebody laughs. 4 minutes in, the 2 separate conversations have become one. 7 minutes in, everyone at the table has their body angled the same direction. 12 minutes in, someone who was telling a story before the arrival has quietly given up on the story and won't pick it back up. Nobody decided this would happen. There was no vote. Nobody announced any charisma. The table reorganized itself, silently, like iron filings near a magnet. And here's the part that matters. 6 weeks from now, that same person will be the least liked member of the group, and the group won't be able to say when exactly it changed. Why does it work so fast? And why does it stop working? Hold on to both of those questions. They have answers, and the answers have names, surnames, and publication years. But before that, pay attention to something you've probably heard so often it became automatic truth. You've heard that they're empty inside, that the confidence is a mask, that there's a wounded child behind that smile, and if you peeled back the shell, you'd find a well of insecurity. That sentence is everywhere, and it's the reason almost nobody understands what's actually happening at that table. In 2010, the German psychologist Mietje Bach published a study with a title that's practically the name of this video, Why Narcissists Are So Charming at First Sight. He gathered dozens of strangers who had never met, put them all in one room, filmed the first few minutes, then asked each of them to rate each of the others. Who would you like to know better? Who seemed interesting to you? The result was too clean to be comfortable. The higher the narcissism score, the higher the immediate popularity. Not slightly higher, consistently higher. But Bach didn't stop there, and that's why the study matters. He decoded the mechanism. He handed the footage to independent raters who knew nothing about the participants and asked them to note observable behaviors. 4 signals came up. The first is appearance. Not attractive, groomed in a way that draws the eye. Clothing chosen with one more decision in it than the average person would have made for that context. The second is facial expression, specifically the quantity of expression. The face works harder, reacts faster, gives back more. The third is body movement. Wide gestures, no hesitation, taking up physical space without asking permission to take it. And the fourth is the most efficient of all, verbal flexibility with humor. The person changes subject easily, drops a joke into exactly the right slot, doesn't stall, doesn't hesitate, doesn't need a second to think. Put all 4 together and you have exactly what walked in at 9:23. Now notice what that means. None of those signals is fake. The person really did dress well, really was funny, really did move with certainty. There was no lie at that table. And that's precisely why it works, because it isn't a badly built performance that you failed to catch. It's a well-built one, and you caught all of it correctly, and you liked it. And the mask, the wounded child, the emptiness underneath? When researchers went to measure that seriously, the result didn't cooperate. In 2008, Jennifer Bosson and colleagues reviewed the entire body of work trying to link narcissism to hidden low self-esteem. The evidence was fragile, inconsistent, and depended heavily on how each individual study had been built. It isn't that insecurity never exists, it's that insecurity isn't the engine. The confidence that takes over a table in 4 minutes isn't insecurity in costume. It's confidence, and confidence is doing the work. Which means the comfortable explanation is wrong. You weren't fooled by a shell. And if it wasn't a shell, then something else happened at that table. Something that involves you. Go back to the table, but push the clock forward. In 1998, the Canadian psychologist Delroy Paulhus did something almost nobody does. Instead of measuring a first impression, he measured the same impression 7 times. He built groups of strangers and had them meet weekly for 7 weeks. Same people, same room. After every session, everyone rated everyone. In week 1, participants with narcissistic traits were the highest rated in the group, seen as competent, likable, secure, interesting. By week 7, they were the lowest rated. Same people, same rooms, No scandal, no revelation, no single moment where the mask fell. Just time. The curve rises fast, peaks early, and then descends until it sits below where everyone else already was. And the obvious question is, what happens between week 1 and week 7? Back has an answer for that too, published years later. He proposed that narcissism isn't one thing. It's two different engines turning inside the same person. The first engine seeks admiration. That's the one that walks into the bar, picks the outfit, lands the joke on time. That engine is seductive because its strategy is to charm, and charming requires handing something good to whoever's watching. The second engine is rivalry. It doesn't seek admiration, it defends position. And its strategy isn't to charm, it's to diminish. It shows up when the admiration starts wearing off on its own, when someone disagrees, when another person at the table tells a better story, when the group's interest migrates. The first engine wins the room. The second engine tries to hold the room, except it holds it by pushing everyone else down. That's what happens between week 1 and week 7. It isn't the mask falling, it's the second engine switching on. One piece is still missing, and it's the piece that moves this video somewhere else entirely. In 2012, Cameron Anderson and colleagues tested an uncomfortable question. Why does overconfidence succeed socially, if it is by definition a distortion of reality? It should be punished, it should be detected, it isn't. What they found is that groups grant status to people who display confidence, because groups cannot tell confidence apart from competence. Both come in through the same channel, speaking without hesitation, gesturing firmly, answering quickly, never backing down. The human social reading system interprets all of it as evidence that this person knows what they're doing. Because for most of our species' history, people who knew what they were doing usually displayed exactly those signals. The shortcut worked. It still works most of the time. But it's a shortcut, and shortcuts can be walked by anyone who has the signal without having the thing. So go back to 923 and look again, now that you know. The person who arrived didn't hypnotize you. They used no secret technique. They emitted 4 signals your brain is built to read as competence, and your brain did what it has done for thousands of years. Read them, drew a conclusion, and reorganized the table in 4 minutes. Without consulting you. You weren't fooled by them. You were handed over by yourself, and that's why week 7 fixes nothing. The group at that table will learn. It'll take 6 weeks, it'll cost a few bad nights, but they'll learn. Except that learning isn't transferable. It stays at that table with those 8 people in that bar. Next Thursday, there's another table, another 8 people who have never seen any of it, and the clock resets to 0. That person doesn't need anyone to forgive them. They need new rooms to exist, and new rooms will always exist. The uncomfortable part is that you're always walking into new rooms too. And every time you walk in, the same system switches itself on, runs the same read in 4 minutes, and hands you the same conclusion with the same confidence as always. You're not going to turn it off. Nobody turns it off. The most you can do is remember the number. Not 4, 7.